Welcome to the Fantasyfling DFS channel. Take a break from the season-long commitment and join us for all things daily fantasy sports. DraftKings Daily Drafts, the newest and hottest DFS deals, and all the best ball and DFS content you can handle. All right, let's dive headfirst into this episode.
Welcome. This is Fantasyfling looking at week 12. The contest over on Underdog, what won, weekly winners, daily drafts, and then we're going to dive into week 13. A little bit of strategy, see if we can pull off a live draft. I don't know. I'm recording this a little late. I hope it won't be an issue, but yeah, we'll try. I'll say that we'll try. So, let's go over to the weekly winners. I always love to start there. Completed or maybe active. I feel like it's live. Yeah, it's under best ball. I feel like they didn't know how to categorize this contest. It's literally, it needs its own category because it's best ball meets DFS. But yeah, they categorize it as best ball. So whatever. Great Coach won the weekly winners last week, won $20,000. Weekly winners is essentially best ball / DFS because you drafted before the season. So you're not drafting each and every week, but it's a weekly format. So you're basically trying to draft a team that you think has a high enough floor and ceiling that could have a spike week and could win the whole thing. So, that's a strategy. There's several different ways to get there. So that's what I'm trying to identify by reviewing these lineups because it's a contest. It's a new contest, of course. It's the first year doing it. So I want to see what is winning. And we go in this way. We will go into the off season and we will know how to attack this contest. So, now, last week was a little different because wait, no, this is wrong. I was like, Seattle and Dallas, this game just happened. Like it ended like 5 minutes ago. So yeah, let's go back to week 12, not week 13. I'm sure the guy in first place, that game went off, so it may hold, but we'll see. So Philly versus Buffalo last week was the game that popped off, of course. If you play DFS, you play these drafts, didn't really matter what happened before those afternoon games. This is the game that went off. So we had Jalen Hurts in the winning lineup, and it was the Devonta Smith stack. Okay. So we had Hurts, and then Kyron Williams, and Bijan Robinson, and Isaiah Pacheco. Those are the three backs, which, all smashed over 23 points. That was the minimum. And then Devonta Smith, Gabe Davis, and Keenan Allen. So I'm not sure if this was a lineup that was built specifically for this game. Obviously you want to get a stack with Jalen Hurts. So probably, wasn't able to get A.J. Brown, was able to get Devonta Smith, and in the stack had Gabe Davis. Now, again, I'm not sure, we'd have to ask Seeklick 6 if this was actually built on this game or just wanted Gabe Davis because Gabe Davis has spike weeks every now and then. So really smashed with the Devonta Smith here because he ended up outscoring A.J. Brown, and Gabe Davis does have these spike weeks, so it did enough, but really it was the running backs that carried this lineup. Kyron Williams, Bijan Robinson, and Isaiah Pacheco. So pretty good stuff. Pat Freiermuth, good tight end, very undervalued, coming off his injury. So fantastic. Josh Allen. So this was an Allen lineup, and I'm guessing going to have Gabe Davis. Yep. Gabe Davis, Zay Flowers, and DJ Moore. Does it have Kincaid? No, it did not have Kincaid. And smashed with Kyron Williams and Bijan. And, just 0.10 points behind second place was third place. He won $9,000. So had Josh Allen wow, no stack with Josh Allen. So Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Christian Watson, Kyron Williams, Derrick Henry. So had no stack with Josh Allen, but Josh Allen is that guy that can do a lot of rushing on his own, rush a couple touchdowns. So that's exactly what happened, and that's how he ended up near the top of the leaderboards with this lineup. So pretty good stuff. Let's see. As far as the daily drafts, I did the mini royale, the underdog. I think what happened was the battle royale was filled early, much earlier than normal. I think it was just kind of the holiday. People had a lot of time off, so they just started drafting. So it filled. So I ended up doing the mini royale this week. So won't spend too much time on this as we're gonna hop into a live draft. But won $8,000 for first place. Ethan JL95, Josh Allen, no stack. So keep in mind with the daily drafts, it's a lot different because you're only drafting 6 spots. So quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. So you will see QB +1 and sometimes QB +2, but you really just don't see the crazy stacks overall because there's just not that many spots. So you're really just trying to hit more the optimal here. So Josh Allen, Kyron Williams, Pacheco, Dell, Ridley. Now there was a stack here, so kind of a ping pong stack. That was first place, second place. We're seeing more of the same, right? So there's no Gabe Davis, no Stephon Diggs, Allen, Williams, Bijan, Robinson, and Pittman. So another ping pong stack. So yeah, 2 ping pong stacks in the top 3. Now this one did have Josh Allen, Devonta Smith, and Gabe Davis. So Allen plus Davis with Devonta Smith bring back. And then also Kyron Williams and Trey McBride. So a secondary stack there for third place. So pretty good stuff. Let's see if we can actually pull off a live draft. We'll get into the Battle Royale. Quick $5 entry fee. Now, underdog drafts normally fill pretty quick. Wow. So their draft starts in 50 seconds. So gonna kind of get into some of the quarterbacks that I like on this slate. We're gonna start it out there. And just a couple of game environments that I like that I'm going to be looking to target. So, the one that really stands out above them all is going to be Miami and Washington. I really, if I can get Tyreek Hill and get that to a stack, or even go a little contrarian with it, do Jalen Waddle with it to a stack. I love that. That is a game that has some crazy shootout potential. Both of these teams can score, and specifically Washington gives up a lot of points. So this game I think has some really good shootout potential. A couple other games on the slate. I like Denver versus Houston. I think Denver will be forced to throw a bit more this week, and Houston can be thrown on. I see just Stroud is very elusive in the pockets. So Tyreek Hill went number 1. So clearly not getting him. I'm going to need to pivot. I am 3 picks away. So if Jalen Waddle's there, I will take Jalen Waddle. But yeah, as I was saying, CJ Stroud is very elusive, and I think he can kind of, move around in the pocket enough to make some plays downfield. Denver hasn't seen that in a little bit. And push the pace a little bit, just enough that I think Denver will have to throw the ball on the other side of the ball and, not rely so heavily on Javonte and Perrine. So I'm expecting that game. That game is a 47.5 point total. Expecting it to be a more high scoring than people probably would have thought. And that's how Vegas has it, certainly. So I like Stroud in that game. I like Wilson is kind of a contrarian stack as well. A guy you can get in the late rounds. So this draft started out with Tyreek Hill, McCaffrey, Amon-Ra St. Brown, AJ Brown, Keenan Allen. So I think I'm just going to go with Jalen Waddle right here. And back to back. It's a tough one. I'm going to pick Tua, though. It's a little bit of a reach. But that's certainly one of the stacks that I want to happen for this week. So I really like that game environment. Miami, they have a 29.5 implied team total. It's the highest on the slate. And, I think most of the field is going to go to Tyreek Hill. So, and rightfully so. But things happen in games. That's one thing I learned from playing a lot of DFS is the guy that you think is going to be the number one scorer on that week. Well, a lot of times it's going to be AJ Brown, but there are off times when it's going to be Devonta Smith, and that's going to win you the whole tournament by playing them. So if it feels a little uncomfortable, it's probably good for a large field GPP like the size of the Battle Royale of 65,000. All right, 5 picks away. We got Stroud, and so after I picked, we got Ayuk, Hurts, Evans, Stroud, and Dell. I like Stroud and Dell this week. I like Dell a little bit more than Nico Collins because if I had to guess, I think Patrick Surtain is going to be on Nico Collins. So I think it'll open up things for Dell a little bit. Eckler just went. Some good running back value that's still available. A lot of good matchups. So 2 picks away, we had Eckler and then Kamara, who both went. Eckler, hasn't had a good year. I'm surprised Kittle went that early. But he's really de facto number one in that offense. So kind of makes sense in a lot of ways. Philly can certainly be attacked through the air. All right. So I am on the clock. Definitely not going to take Raheem Mostert. I think Zach Moss is going to be kind of a core play for me across all formats this week. God, there's some good spots here. I think I'm going to take Michael Pittman here. So Michael Pittman is a guy who's got about a 30% target share on the season. So I like him. I was very tempted to take another running back, but not super confident in Jalen Waddle being my wide receiver one. So, I feel like got to get a little more depth here. So, I needed to not wait on another wide receiver. Certainly could have taken Cooper Kupp there. I think he could be in for a good week, but the volume for Pittman has just been incredible, and it's actually a good matchup against Tennessee that is a pass funnel. So I did like Pittman there. I think my next pick, I'm going to go running back, and then I'm going to save the tight end for the last round. There's some guys that I'm looking to target really at tight end. I wish we had a little more clarity. I think honestly, Houston has the best matchup against Denver this week, but Dalton Schultz, he hasn't practiced so far. So if Brevin Jordan gets the start, he's going to be an absolute steal. So do you want to make that gamble? I'm not too sure. We're going to look at the board and see what's there. So, before my pick, it went Kyron Williams, Devonta Smith, and then I took Zach Moss and Pittman back to back. And then we got Purdy, Deebo Samuel, and Bijan Robinson, which Bijan was a great pick. Nico Collins, Cooper Kupp finally went off the board. Devin Achon. I'm not sure that he's going to play this week, but we'll see. So there's a couple guys that are still on the board that I really like. Rachaad White, he's got a great matchup this week going against Carolina. They are very much a run funnel. Great zone defense, hard to pass on. So I would love Rachaad White. Jahmyr Gibbs is in a pretty good spot. Henry Ramondre. So, really this whole these 4 backs, I kind of want backs that kind of have the backfield of themselves, when I have this pick of the litter right here. So lean in Rashad White, lean in Derrick Henry or Ramondre. It's going to be one of these guys. Okay. So it's going to be Rashad White for me here. And then it is my last pick. So, we got enough correlation. We have Zach Moss and Michael Pittman as a secondary stack. We have Tua to Jalen Waddle. Both of my backs. I like both my backs. What are we going to do at tight end? So we got McBride, Schultz, Logan Thomas, Juwan Johnson. It's really tough right here because we got a lot of guys who are questionable. I love Schultz if he plays, but it's so iffy. So it's just really hard to choose. But I think Trey McBride was the play there. Just couldn't go with Schultz knowing that he might not play. Trey McBride's questionable, but I think he's more likely to play than Schultz, who hasn't practiced at all. So pretty good lineup. Like I said, Tua to Waddle, as Zach Moss and Pittman as a secondary sack, Rashad White, and Trey McBride. So, not a bad draft. I feel like it ended up pretty well for me. Going to go over some of the other plays that I like. Like I said, at quarterback, really the top play was going to be Jalen Hurts. That's a pretty good matchup. Expect to be back and forth, but San Francisco does have a good D. So, I kind of prefer Tua, just an easier path to victory. And the Washington defense is just abysmal. And, I expect Tyreek Hill to have his way with them. So I like Tua. I like Hill and Waddle. CJ Stroud versus Denver. I think it's a tougher matchup. He can get there, but as far as like first in a large field GPP, I think it's much less likely for Stroud this week. If I'm waiting on guys, Russell Wilson, I think is a guy that you could certainly wait on, and get like in the last round. Sam Howell going against Miami in a negative game script, but Miami could be thrown on a bit too. So that game has a shootout potential written all over it. I think he would be the guy that you would wait on. As far as running backs, Christian McCaffrey is obviously the top guy. Alvin Kamara is not getting a lot of, love so far this week by all the pundits, but I do think this could be, one of his spike weeks. Rashad White going against Carolina sets up really well. Zach Moss is a guy that I'm trying to get to everywhere with Jonathan Taylor out. He's just been incredibly good this year, vastly outperformed expectations. And it's, not the best matchup, but they continue to beat really good matchups. They have this year. They went against Cleveland. I believe it was a couple weeks ago. Who was it they went against last week? I want to say who Jonathan Taylor go against last week. Anyways, it was a tough matchup, and he continues to beat it. And we saw Zach Moss do the same thing. So Derrick Henry against Indy. Great matchup. I like Ramondre Stevenson against the Chargers as well. And Kyron Williams is a guy that can certainly beat tough matchups as well. Detroit has a really good matchup going against New Orleans. The only problem with them is guessing, which running back is going to have the smash game. The ceiling, they both have a high floor, but the ceiling is kind of capped. So wide receiver, the top guy for me is clearly Tyreek Hill. If we get a healthy Keenan Allen, I love Keenan Allen as well. And then it'd be like Amon-Ra St. Brown and AJ Brown going against San Francisco. Amon-Ra has the better matchup. And then Pittman would be my other guy who I drafted. Love him going against Tennessee, pass funnel. As far as the Houston guys, like I said, I would lean Tank Dell because I think Nico would probably get a lot of Patrick Surtain. And then a guy who actually really has a good matchup going against the Los Angeles Chargers is Mario Douglas. I love him in this spot. So it's tight end. The top guy is obviously George Kittle. Trey McBride, and Joku. If Dalton Schultz plays, I love him. If he doesn't, a very sneaky play. Brevin Jordan, he's definitely a guy you can get in the last round. No one's going to be on him, and it's the best tight end matchup on the slate. So, yeah, that's going to wrap it up. I appreciate you watching the channel and watching the show. And stay tuned. I will be doing a drafters lineup review. Almost took down the Sunday well last week. So I'm going to be doing that review. Keep an eye out for it. Best of luck this week. We will see you all next week.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe. You know you don't want to miss what's coming next. We really appreciate it. And we'll catch you in the next episode right here on the Fantasy Fling DFS channel.